For more on the uptick in migrant crime, we're joined by former acting director of ICE and former chief of Border Patrol, Ron Vitiello. Ron, thank you for taking time. That body cam footage is fascinating, and we often hear critics of the administration's border policies citing Rachel Morin's tragic death, or Laken Riley, or 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare. But the numbers we saw late yesterday, CBP dropped the actual border encounter numbers for the month of July, and we can show them to you. They're quite low. You see 104,000 July encounters. The fiscal year to date is 1.925, almost 2 million. We'll probably hit that soon enough. But you look back at the two fiscal years, 2023 and 2022, which are under the Biden-Harris administration, more than 2 million, 2.475 and 2.378, unprecedented numbers never hit. So, Ron, is this good news? Should the administration be patted on the back for lower numbers now in July, or is there a larger story?
Absolutely not. We're still in the worst crisis on our southwest border of illegal migration, of terrorist encounters, of human trafficking, of cartel enrichment. We still have the worst crisis on our southwest border that we've ever seen. Yeah, we might get to 2 million, which in the Biden administration is lower than we've seen in their history so far. But there's still more than the Border Patrol agents and the frontline people of DHS can do at our southwest border, because we're still in record territory. And you're right to point out Laken Riley and Rachel Morin and other victims of illegal alien crime, people who have come to the country contrary to the law, have not been invited by us, but not only did that, but went to communities and towns near us and did horrific things to our citizens. And so there's still a crisis on the southwest border. And now that we're in the campaign, we can see there's a contrast between what's happened the last 4 years and what happened the previous 4 years. And I think people can agree that we were much safer under the Trump administration when border encounters were at 50-year lows in illegal migration across the southwest border, less human trafficking, less death and destruction at the border itself and in our communities.
And Ron, lifelong career border officials like yourself and others, like former Chief Rodney Scott, Chief Raul Ortiz, and even the current Chief Jason Owens, we all have understood the message from you guys saying that as the administration began to change policies, undoing Remain in Mexico and the others, it affected it. But there was always an unspoken red line, and that was the mass release of single adult males. And many of them, yourself, I believe, included, that said, that's a place we've never been and don't want to be because of the consequences. Well, now we're seeing those consequences, not just Rachel Morin's death, but almost on a daily, if not certainly weekly case of these males, single adult males that were released that have become a threat to communities and society. And you look at just this 2 days ago, I was reporting on a Peruvian gang leader, Gianfranco Torres Navarro, who goes by Gianfranco 23 by Peru officials, because that's the number of individuals he's alleged to kill in his home country. He came across in May, was released with a notice to appear the same day, and then ICE learned in July that he was wanted for homicide, so ICE goes out and rearrests him and brings him into custody, where he is now in removal proceedings. But you look at some of the comments that Vice President Harris has made in the past, particularly when she was running in the primary, and made statements like this. Watch.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch, because there's a lot that is wrong with the way that it's conducting itself, and we need to deal with that.
Now, to be fair, it's unclear what Harris's current thinking is, as she hasn't done a one-on-one interview in 27 days, nor a press conference where we could ask those things. But when you look at the consequences we're dealing with now and comments back then, what do you make of it, Ron?
Well, I believe what she says. She wanted to abolish ICE before she wanted to abolish the police. She wants to remake ICE. She was the border czar. She was going to work on root causes. None of that has happened. Under her leadership, We've had the worst crisis on the southwest border that we've ever seen. And that just doesn't mean illegal migrants coming across in record numbers. That's bad enough. But record criminals, record deaths of people trying to come across the border, record encounters with terrorists. And in the beginning of the administration, you'll remember, Griff, that she failed to call this a crisis. And then in a crisis on the southwest border in Del Rio, Texas, when the Border Patrol was accused of doing terrible things to Haitian migrants, she threw those agents right under the bus as quickly as she could, just like she threw the workforce under the bus when I was testifying in my confirmation hearing. She has no credibility on this issue. She has no credibility with the front line. And you're right to mention the career officers who are now speaking out and saying the tools that exist to fix this problem were given to them under the previous President Trump. And they need to give those tools back because the front line knows how to solve this problem. They're not being allowed to solve this problem because of the current administration, including Kamala Harris.
And lastly, speaking of Harris, Ron, I want to just quickly show you the first part of a quote from the Trump campaign. Carolyn Levitt, the spokeswoman, put out just a few hours ago. She says this: Kamala Harris is directly responsible for the rapes, murders, and assaults of innocent women perpetrated by illegal aliens who are in our country because of her open border policy. The question is, does she bear responsibility?
She absolutely does. The President Biden put her in charge of working on the problem of illegal migration. Where are the results? It's gotten worse every day they've been in office. She refused to call it a crisis. She threw our employees under the employees of the government under the bus. There's no record of success with her on this issue. And so I don't believe now that she's going to get, all of a sudden, she's going to get tough on the border outside of the campaign context.
We'll see what she has to say about the border and what she would do as president once we finally get that press conference or a one-on-one interview. Ron Vitiello, former BP chief and ICE director, thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you, Griff.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.